The PlayStation 4 has tons of games releasing in 2015 and 2016, and Sony has every genre covered. From cinematic action games to family-friendly platformers, there's something for everyone. These games are really beginning to take advantage of the PS4's graphic power, and many of them are highly anticipated by the fans. In this video, we're looking at 11 games that have been announced for PS4. Some of these games only give us a little teaser clip, but we're dying to see more. Let's take a look at the upcoming PS4 exclusives in 2015 and 2016.
They say my tribe was the first to hunt, the first to raise our bows.
Horizon Zero Dawn is an action role-playing game in which players take control of Aloy, a female hunter and archer, as she progresses through a post-apocalyptic land which is ruled by robotic dinosaurs. The game is set in the future, 1,000 years from now. Human civilization has collapsed, and the world is dominated by robotic creatures, which have become the strongest creatures in the world. The components of these creatures, such as electricity and the metal that they are composed of, are vital to the survival of Aloy, and she must loot these creatures' corpses and find their useful resources. Players can use a variety of techniques to kill enemies, from setting traps like tripwires, shooting enemies with arrows, utilizing explosive and melee combat, or performing silent takedowns. Players can also craft new items by collecting materials and machine parts found in the world. The game also features an open world, which can be explored by players in between missions. A dynamic day-night cycle and weather system will also be featured, and Guerrilla Games is also promising that load screens will not be included in the game. The development of this game began back in 2011. Guerrilla Games announced that they were developing a new IP that was not based on the Killzone franchise. Upon completion of Killzone Shadowfall, more staff from Guerrilla Games were moved to develop and design Horizon Zero Dawn. The game is set to be released worldwide in 2016 for the PlayStation 4.
They don't tell us why the machines rule these lands, but they warn us that this balance cannot last.
The Last Guardian is a third-person perspective game that combines action-adventure and puzzle elements. The players control the unarmed boy who can run, jump, climb, and perform other actions similar to the gameplay in Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. The player may also need to use the environment to silently move around or defeat shadow-being guards, though initially the boy is weaponless. The player's movements are augmented by interaction with Trico, who the boy can climb upon and ride. Trico is driven by animal instincts, and is up to the player to guide the creature, taking advantage of his natural behavior, in order to complete puzzles. For example, the player may have the boy throw a barrel that gains Trico's interest, causing it to move to a specific location. The player may also need to find a way for Trico to sit still in order to allow the player to complete a section. While the natural tendency of the creature is to run ahead of the player, unlike typical sidekicks in video games, the player may also need to find a way for Trico to sit still in order to allow the player to complete a section. The player will also have to care for the creature, either by feeding it or moving spears and arrows that are stuck in its body. Through the course of the game, the player will gain better command of the creature. Initially in the game, the creature may wander off to explore something that interests it more than the boy, refuse to eat food, or choose to go to sleep when it wants to. By performing certain tasks, the player will be able to come to control Trico better, and each player will have a different Trico to work with depending on how he or she chooses to interact with him. However, the player may still want to take advantage of the creature's natural habits. The game includes sections whereby letting Trico roam free, new areas for exploration may open up. Some speculated, based on the tone of Team Ico's past games, that The Last Guardian will end sadly. The Last Guardian is scheduled for release in 2016.
Yet with each fond remembrance, we knew those encountered were not forgotten.
The Final Fantasy VII Remake is an upcoming high-definition remake of Square's 1997 PlayStation role-playing video game, Final Fantasy VII. Rumored and speculated to be a title for many years after the compilation of Final Fantasy VII Project and the Final Fantasy VII PlayStation 3 tech demo, it was officially announced at E3 2015. The game has been announced for release on the PlayStation 4 console, with the potential to be released on other platforms in the future as well. The E3 teaser shows a lot of potential, seeing the old characters with new HD graphics. This would be one of the biggest Final Fantasy releases ever made. The dual intentions of having key individuals from the original development team involved and boosting Japanese interest in the PlayStation 4 were quoted by the game director as being the deciding factors in development beginning after a long period of deliberation within the company. The developers have mentioned that the game won't be a simple remake, and they're working on new story content for the title.
At last, the promise has been made.
And they come out all guns blazing on opening day. Contact. First blood to the Cobras. Crowd control looking to outflank.
Riggs is a first-person, arena-based shooter set 50 years into the future and is a collision of all different sports. There's elements of motorsport, shooting, basketball, and others that come together to create this combat league where the Riggs are the heroes. It's all about the drama, knocking an opponent rig out of the air when they're going to score, getting the big saves, or scoring a last-minute goal to win for your team. The game is built for Sony's Morpheus VR device, since head movement is a big part of how you control the rigs. It's how players steer the mechs and use their aims. You can scan the skies and see other rigs, or change direction quickly. Matches are 3-on-3, and the rigs come in different forms with different specialities. There's the Hunter, the Mirage, and the Tempest. Tempest is a lightweight flying rig, Mirage is a tall, agile rig that can double jump, and Hunters are small, fast rigs that can get through gaps quickly.
What a classic!
Hey, watch out!
Everyone out of the way!
Uncharted 4 is set several years after his last adventure. Retired fortune hunter Nathan Drake has settled into a quiet life with his wife Elena. But after his long-lost brother Sam comes back into his life with a lead on a fabled pirate treasure, Nate is forced back into the world of thieves. With the stakes being much more personal, Drake embarks on a globe-trotting journey in pursuit of a historical conspiracy behind a fabled pirate treasure. His greatest adventure will test his physical limits, his resolve, and ultimately what he's willing to sacrifice to save the ones he loves. Uncharted 4 shows an even more cinematic experience. An urban environment in an as of yet unnamed city in Madagascar is the second locale confirmed to be playable. Once again, it is much more large and open in comparison to previous games. Crowds are now more dynamic and react to Nate's actions. Nate's movement will also change, as he will adjust his body to move through the crowds easier. Nate will even speak to civilians. Objects in the environment are now destructible, from gunfire and brute force. Sandbags appear as cover items. As they are shot, they will leak and shrink, making them useless as cover. Sully was shown to be returning as an AI partner, featuring the usual banter between the pair. Sully is capable of taking on enemies that are outnumbering Nate in order to make the escape easier. Vehicles will also make a return. However, unlike Drake's fortune, vehicle segments are much more dynamic, with multiple paths and destructible objects. Uncharted 4 will arrive on PS4 in 2016.
Oh, crap!
Tearaway Unfolded is a port of the original game on the Vita, and it remains true to the original while taking full advantage of the PS4's power. It will run in 1080p 60 frames per second, and it will take advantage of the DualShock 4. The touchpad will be used for specific game-related gestures, and the light bar will be used to illuminate dark areas. The original Tearaway is about a messenger on a mission to deliver a unique message to the player. The game is third-person platforming with unique paper-based art style. There's light puzzle solving, but the game really focuses on being an interactive story. Ratchet & Clank is shaping up to be a beautiful adventure game. The trailer is a blend of movie footage and in-game footage, but it's so seamless you can't tell the difference. The galaxy is very lively, as we see dozens of characters in a huge arena. Monsters are massive, and the models of both Ratchet and Clank never looked better. You also see that they're using team-based moves as Clank helps Ratchet by transforming into a platform. And it's amazing to see new effects on our favorite weapons. Ratchet runs through so many different areas and all of them look distinct. One of the most exciting parts of Ratchet & Clank was landing on different planets and exploring all of them. And the movement sections return grinding on rail systems and hoverboards. This will mark the first Ratchet & Clank movie release, and it will be one of the biggest movie and game tie-ins if they are both successful. Insomniac Games has a strong track record of producing fun, imaginative, and entertaining games, so we should expect the best from this game. The first level shown in the gameplay demo is in Alero City. Now the HUD has been completely revamped and the scroll wheel weapon selection system is still there, so we can still expect the same high variety of weapons. And just like the previous games, it's a mix of dangerous explosives and other weapons that just straight up cause mischief and mayhem. The character modeling and animation looks like it's received the best treatment. The way the enemies move and appear on screen is so fluid. Even the city in the background looks really filled out and detailed. There's so much clarity even with the buildings and architecture far away. Most of the movement remains unchanged. The special double jumps, rotation switches, shooting and strafing, and melee combat remain true to the original. The second level of the demo, Nebula G34, is a boss fight that really shows off the graphics. Ratchet has a nice upgraded suit, and the duo face off against Blargian Snagglebeast. This huge green monster pounds and charges after our heroes in this lava arena. There's new explosive weapons, pyro flamethrowers, and even the Groovetron, which makes enemies dance. There's also a gun that pixelizes and slows the enemies. Again, even the exit cutscene looks like a Pixar movie. This game is just an amazing adventure for fans of all ages, and it will be releasing in 2016.
Are you ready to be a Galactic Ranger? We want you!
Nier 2 was a big surprise announcement. The first Nier, although a good game in its own right, never really received a lot of recognition. Square Enix decided to give the green light on Nier 2, and this time it's being developed by Platinum Games. So we can expect the combat to be fun, fast, and amazing to watch. Platinum is known for wild games like Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising, and that's why they were chosen for development. Nier 2 will balance RPG elements with improved, fast-action combat, and it's exclusive to the PS4 due to the system's power. There are three main protagonists in the game: the girl in the trailer, who is a completely new character, a young boy, and a character not yet revealed. The story takes place in the same world, but most locations are new. Even if areas from the original Nier appear in the game, they will be completely redesigned. The theme of the game is agaku, a Japanese word that means to struggle, desperately fight your way out of a situation. The story is completely new and has very little connection to the original Nier. Characters from the previous game may make a brief cameo, but will not be a part of the main story. There will be more towns and cities in the game, which will have a dilapidated look and feel to them. Everybody's Gone to Rapture tells the story of the inhabitants of a remote English valley who are caught up in a world-shattering events beyond their control or understanding. Made by the Chinese Room, the studio responsible for the hauntingly beautiful Dear Esther, this tale of how people respond in the face of grave adversity is a non-linear, open-world experience that pushes innovative interactive storytelling to the next level. Over the course of the game, the player pieces together the fate of the valley from the fragmentary memories of the people who made it their home. By finding and interacting with the traces of these lost lives, the player gradually learns about the stories and relationships of the inhabitants, how they lived and how they died. All this is accomplished through revolutionary environmental storytelling. What you see and hear in Rapture is just as important as what you do. Based on what we know, Persona 5 will continue the series tradition of starring Japanese high school students and will feature the concept of freedom as a major underlying theme. players will live out a year in the life of a high school boy who gains the ability to summon facets of his psyche known as personas. Dungeon exploration features additional elements from previous iterations, such as jumping across gaps or dashing between cover. Dungeons feature a mixture of fixed environments tied into the plot and theme, and randomly generated environments. Dreams is a sandbox creation game similar to Little Big Planet. The devs of Media Molecule have only teased us with a bit of information on the concept of the game. We're still waiting on details of the potential creations. This is a game that's really based on community involvement and creativity. This game takes it to the next level by letting you create almost anything.